Okay. We are talking about different formulas and solving those formulas. So let's look at the distance formula. Is a formula we've used in the past. So I would like for y'all to open up your composition book and just write the formulas down so you have them. So 2.8, distance, midpoint, and circles. So our distance formula, it comes from Pythagorean theorem. So it's d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And then midpoint is found m equals, it's going to be an actual point because it's a midpoint. So our answer will be as an xy, as a coordinate in the graph. So to find the midpoint, you would take the average of the x value and average of the y value. To find the average, you add the two x's up and divide by 2. Comma, y1, add the y's up and divide by 2. Okay, and then the formula for circles. Is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. And the center of the circle is the point HK. And the radius is R. Okay, so those are just the formulas you need. So now we're going to look at the problems that are on that set of notes that I gave y'all. And we are just going to solve these. I'll answer any questions about it. Just get you a little bit of practice before you do the actual assignment. So number 1 is all about distance. So in order to find the distance, you would just use the formula. So I like to label them. So I know my points are 4, -1, and -6, 3. So I would label my points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then plug them into the formula. We are going to need to write the answers as the simplified exact answer with the square root symbol, with our radical being simplified, and also the approximate. So we're going to have to write them both ways. So D equals square root of x2 -6 minus x1 squared plus I didn't do that right, did I? Yeah, I did. -6 minus 4, and then 3 minus a -1 squared. If you want to put the inside into the calculator and simplify the inside using the calculator, that's fine. I just go ahead and do, I know this is 10, -10, -10 squared is 100, plus 16. Y'all double check me. It's right? Okay. So then it's square root of 116. Okay, so then we need to simplify it. So we need to find a perfect square that is a factor of 116. So what numbers divide 116 evenly? That's a perfect square. Okay, so 4 times 29. So we could write this as square root of 4, square root of 29, which equals 2 square roots of 29. And then also write the approximate to 2 decimal places. So the approximate is 10.77 units. And number 2, find the midpoint of the line segment. So we are just using that formula. So I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So with midpoint, you add your x's, divide by 2, add your y's, divide by 2. So it's the 0.46. Okay, the next problem is writing the standard form. So the standard form is what I gave y'all. The x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where your center is hk and your radius is r. So center is 0, 0. So x minus 0. So this is h and this is k. X minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 7 squared. So the 0, nothing happens to that. So we just have x squared plus y squared equals 49. This is the standard form of the equation, or of the circle. Okay, so that's with a center of 0, 0. It's always going to be x squared plus y squared equals radius squared whenever the origin is your center. Now, if we have a center at -1, 4, then we label this h and this k, radius of 2. So it'll be x minus a -1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 2 squared. This is going to become plus, so it's x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 4. And that is how we leave it. We don't have to do anything else. That's a simplified form, and it's also in standard form. The next one, we are going to give the center and radius when we're given the standard form. So our h and our k, and then this is r squared. So because the formula says x minus h squared, h is going to be 3. Because the minus is part of the formula. The minus is not part of the h. And then here k is 1. So we know that the center is at 3, 1. And then to find the radius squared equals 36. So we just take the square root and we get radius equals 6. Okay, let's look at the next one. Graph the equation of 4a. Why don't we do it over here? I really don't want to do it without a piece of graph paper, so this is probably our best way. So let's write 4b. So let's write the equation. X minus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 36. Okay, so we need to put our center at 3, 1. So go over 3, up 1. It's your center. Radius of 6. So all I need to do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then think of how to make a circle. Do the best you can on your drawing of a circle. Just don't make it a square. So this was at 3, 1. And then 5 over would be 8, 1. No, 6 over, sorry. 9, 1. Up, that would be 3, 7. And then negative 3, positive 1. And then negative 3, negative 5. So those are the coordinates that are along the outside, or along the circumference is what I should say. Okay, so I'm going to write in here in Tom Book. Okay, 4C, use the graph in the problem to identify the relation's domain and range. So domain is your x values. What is your smallest x value? -3. Let's do it as an interval. Oh, it's included, so that should be a bracket. And then it goes all the way to 9. And then what about the range? How low can it go? And then how high can it go? Yeah. Okay, so always look left and right for domain, up and down for range. Let's look at number 5. Convert general form to standard form. So we want the standard form, we want it to look like this. So let's group all the x's together. So we'd have x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 2y. And we need to move that 8 over to the other side. Let's see. So on this, let's see what we can do. So I need to do like this. Move that 8 to the other side. So b equals 8. And we got to complete the squares. So do y'all remember completing the square vaguely? You take, so it's like x squared plus 8x plus something. Plus, and then y squared minus 2y something equals 8. And then we're going to add those over here also. So you take b and you divide it by 2 and then you square it in order to complete the square. So we're going to do 8 divided by 2 is 4 and then square it. So this will be plus 16. So if I add 16 over here, I have to add it over here. And then this problem, I do the same thing, b divided by 2 and then square it. So I need to add 1. So now I need to rewrite it. Since I added 16, I can now write it as a perfect square. What multiplies together to get 16 and adds to get 8? 4. What multiplies to get positive 1, but adds to get negative 1? It'd be negative 1. So equals 25. So if this part was confusing to you, you're going to have to go back to our notes of how we completed the square. And then our last problem would be, or last part of this problem, it says to graph it. So we need to find the center and the radius. So the center is HK. Well, this is a positive. So that means that our H is a negative. And then Y minus 1. So that means positive. And then our radius would be 5. 5 squared equals 25. We're not going to worry about graphing that. We've already graphed one, so you know how to do that. That is all the notes for this section. There is an assignment already posted on there for you.